Gonna focus this guy as we walk down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5, dodge, 4, dispel, 2, 1. AoE.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dispel. Dodge. Dot. Dispel. 5. Dodge. 4, 3, 2, 1. AoE. Move. Dispel.
The dispel's coming out, so we're not gonna go into cat form. Once we have hots rolling again, I have to get rid of this stupid affix.
Dot.
For the dots, we also can't, so we'll just refresh some dots on the bosses.
5. Dodge. 4.
Should be good enough.
2.
I can go into cat form. A little bit of downtime. We have the AoE coming out. We'll just convoke in cat form, and it'll also heal enough. Now we can just sit and do damage pretty much the whole time since the Thel's dead, which puts the dot on everybody. Gonna focus the Arbalist here. If we start in stealth, he'll get stuns. So it gives us more downtime to hit him. And we'll convoke. And now probably not a bad idea to jump out and just apply hots to whoever gets the bleed. And then we can jump back in. These guys don't really do anything. If any boss does though, but we have enough time to apply some cat form dots on him in the meantime, and then just all we do is we go out every time he does the interrupting shout. We just go out and press wild growth and a few rejuves or something. I'm just casting extra spells to get rid of the debuff affix, that is. Now we have the interrupting shout again, so we just go out, we wild growth, we press a button or two, and then we go back in. Refresh our bleeds. Gonna get the same thing here. Also, upkeep spells are huge for stuff like this, where you just want to heal like before the next AoE goes off. Just having F-Flow and Life Blooms out will help a lot as well. Now we just kind of hot as we run down to the next mini-boss. We got the wrong one, unfortunately. So this one's going to do some damage. But there will be downtime, so I'm going to apply some hots. That guy didn't LOS in time, so we just put some heals on him. Upkeep spells. Here we also don't have to heal the tank at all. So we just put the Life Bloom, instead of on the tank, we just put it on whoever gets the dot. And then that's even less healing that we need to do. In a hierarchy, you probably will need Life Bloom on the tank just because of the tank buster that she does. And there it hit 2 of us, so I just defensive and then I heal the other guy. Hanging up here is kind of unfortunate because if a melee gets targeted, we're just kind of screwed. We have nowhere to run. Same thing, we just apply life limit to him. Move out of the way slightly. Invoke for damage. See there, we both ran away, so goes on both of us. Luckily it's a lower key, so it doesn't hurt as bad. Just applying dots. Gonna do what I can for damage. Heart of the Wild, and then we need to jump out and definitely do some healing. Otherwise people will die. Gonna defensive myself so I don't have to worry about me. Ironbark somebody, and then we go back in a cat farm. I have the bleed, but I have my defensive rolling, so I'm fine. I don't need to worry about myself. Next mini boss. No, it spawned the wrong one again. This one hurts really bad. So we'll just apply what hots we can, or dots we can at the beginning. Then we're gonna have to start doing some big healing here. Apply our upkeep spells. Try to get a couple damage spells in to refresh. Looks like there's a decent amount of downtime here at the end. I'll reapply our upkeep spells. Swiftman Wild Growth. I'll bark skin myself so I don't have to worry about me. And then we reapply stuff. And then we'll just convoke for healing while we're standing out here anyways. Yeah, see that hurts bad. I had Ironbark up or renewal, so I could have just either renewed myself or Ironbarked myself. Up to the top of the stairs, and then we're gonna get a food buff. By the time they're up here, we get food buff, and then we'll rebuff with Mark of the Wild. This boss also lots and lots of downtime for us to work with. So we're gonna just do that right away. Just a little flag as it spawns. Put everything we can on it. And we go into healing, which it's fine if everyone's not full health right here at the start, because they should only take damage from the initial hit. This is a fight where it's really important to spend your downtime doing damage because you have 2 DPS missing for portions of the fight, and the flags need to die in a certain amount of time. So like here, I'm going to save my combo points and then just rip the banner as it comes out. Rip and rake, and then have everything on it. You can do a little more damage, but I'm going to get rid of this affix. And now we're back on the boss. Really, as long as we have life blooms up and we have F-flow down, we just need to press Wild Growth every time he jumps in the middle of the room, and then the rest should be pretty straightforward. Should be able to get right back to doing damage. This time I'm going to save Convoke. So now I'm going to put my stuff on the banner. And I'm going to Convoke for damage. Then we reapply stuff to the boss. And then as we run out, just reapply Life Blooms. Press a Wild Growth at some point. And then F-flood near the boss. That way when we run back in, we get healed by that. Now I'm just reapplying stuff to the boss. And then you're going to spawn a banner. We're going to Moonfire it. I'm going to switch back to cat form and apply dots. I'm going to rip it. Doing as much damage as we can to it before he jumps in the middle of the room. There we go. Then we reapply stuff to him. Also reapply Rip here, and then we'll Wild Growth, F-Flow, apply Life Blooms to people, and then we're done and we go back into cat form. The rest of the healing will just happen passively. Apply Rip. Same thing, Moonfire, switch to cat form, put everything on the banner. It's probably even worth to not, at least on lower keys, it's probably worth to just Ferocious Bite the banner. Maybe even on higher keys too, I don't know. It seems like the Rip is pretty wasted, especially if it's like a high combo point one. If you only have like 1 or 2 combo points, it's fine. If you have 5 combo points, you should definitely just spend it on a Ferocious Bite on the flag. Here we just run through. And keep up with the tank as much as possible during this so that you don't get stuck behind with a bunch of shackles. Tag this guy. Gonna press my defensive. Gonna decurse myself. See, even with that, like without my defensive there, I'm just dead. And then we need to get ready for the AoE healing here, so we're not gonna use anything. And then I'm just gonna convoke it. We're mostly watching the people who have shackles and the AoE while the AoE is going off. Like right here, the hunter. And then now I have time to switch forms, do some damage. Definitely have time at the start there, but I shapeshifted back into human form to pull it, so usually the tanks and pugs don't like to pull this thing. So I was grabbing it, and then he grabbed it at the same time, so it just wasn't worth changing back and trying to do damage. Might as well just get ready for the AoE damage that's going to happen. And we're going to the next platform. This one, there shouldn't be too much happening. There's shackles, but that's about it. So we just hit the Soul Binder. If I need to do healing, I could just like jump out, Wild Growth, rejuice somebody who's getting hit like they're on the Paladin, and he'll be fine with that. This platform, there's a lot of healing to do because we have another Portal Guardian, but we have time, so I'm going to put Life Blooms out. I'm going to put F-Flow on the ground, and then I'm going to go into cat form, get the Guardian, fly stuff, invoke, and then we'll dispel, and then now we go into healing, where we're going to use a defensive. Then we just Wild Growth and throw stuff out on people. Looks like a volley's going off there. But we had a lot of stuff rolling, so we're safe. That's the beautiful thing about low keys, is you can hard carry as the healer if you're ready for the damage. If it's damage you can't really predict, if it's possible that it can happen, like if someone misses a kick and the group is going to take a bunch of damage, just pre-hot everybody as if it's going to go off, and it'll help a lot. Here we do some damage. I try to apply everything to both of them. And Moonfires, and then we can Wild Growth here. There's literally nothing to heal here at all. So we just dispel these curses as they come out, and then we're spending the rest of our time just doing damage and dodging. And we can Convoke, and then I'll dispel a curse after. We're going to dispel the one that's higher duration. And the one on me I don't really have to worry about. I can just kind of walk back and forth. So I'll just leave it on myself. I'll decurse the hunter. Not going to refresh Rip here because it's already dead. Ideally, I throw Life Blooms out before we go to this next pull, even though I'm going to have to just refresh them anyways, but it'll help just initially with the tank. He's going to get meleeed a few times right as we teleport. Another thing here, we take like no damage from this pull as long as we don't miss things. So I'm just gonna walk out, or I'm gonna get out of form, and then I'm just gonna Wild Growth, apply our upkeep spells, and then we just continue like we were. We're just doing damage.
Overcome this trial.
This boss also, similarly, lots of downtime, but there are specific moments. There's a couple moments, actually, we're going to want to do healing. So, the main one is going to be the 2 dots that he puts out on the group. Start out in cat form. We're going to do damage. Make sure we don't walk too close into melee, otherwise you can touch that crap on the floor. It does damage to you. That spiral we don't need to worry about. It's this well of darkness, so it's on me and the priest. So I just life bloom both of us. And then maybe apply, you know, a couple hots here and there or something, depending on the key level. And then we just go right back into doing damage. And then for the draw souls, we don't actually need to be in range to spawn our soul. We just spawns at the closest wall. Even here, we don't really need to do healing on that key level. Maybe just a wild growth in the future is helpful. We have Well of Darkness, so we apply Life Bloom to both. I'll defensive myself, so I don't need to worry about it. And then we just go right back to doing damage once we put hots out on both people. Invoke here. Wild growth. I mean, if I feel like I need to heal during this, I just throw out a wild growth and that should be more than enough. If my upkeep spells are down, like there, I didn't have that flow down. It's just me and the Paladin. Offensive.
Resist. Yes. Resist. And yet.
Save Convoke. Actually, I will invoke these debuffs. It's not a super great use of Convoke, but I'm okay with it. We get a nice big buff going into this next pull. And then here, there will also be unavoidable damage that happens. We'll kind of try to pre-hot the group as we run towards it. And then we will go in here and just pick something with high HP, and then hit everything else. Now, after we spend a decent amount of combo points and feel like we're going to start taking damage, that's when we switch to human form, apply all our upkeep spells and stuff. And then we just wild growth and go back into cat form and start doing damage again. Here someone got hit, so I'll just redo regrowth, and then we're back to doing damage.
Interrupt.
I should not convoke here, I should have done it earlier. I'll just do it on this pack. It's Heart of the Wild here and then convoke. I mean, too much damage that happens here, but if the spewers are going to jump on people or we get the affix, like right there, I can just jump out, wild growth, and then go back to doing damage. Maybe apply like upkeep spells, so we just do Life Bloom F-Flow. There, cast went off, so now we're going to focus on healing just a little bit. Same thing, wild growth, and then we'll jump back into form. Do damage. And same thing here, we're just going to apply stuff as we start walking down to the next pack like this. Just applying rejuice to people and refreshing them. And then we refresh our life blooms at the last possible second, put down F-Flow, and then we're in cat form and we jump in and start doing damage. Pick something with high health.
Interrupt.
This pull's pretty scary, but we can start out by doing damage. So here I'm going to start out by applying stuff, and then we're going to do Wild Growth, apply our upkeep spells, which is Life Glim and Efflow, throw out some rejuves or regrowths depending on who needs healing or what we're trying to accomplish. Wild Growth again, maybe throw out a Treant or two, and then we have downtime to do a little bit of damage since we have a lot of hots rolling. And I'll also just use Convoke because it'll do a little bit of healing and a little bit of damage. Refresh stuff, and then it's back to doing healing. Wild Growth, and then we refresh our upkeep spells. Usually this gets pulled into the boss, but we'll see what we end up doing. So we'll just do some damage. If it doesn't look like they're pulling into the boss, you can just go to town on these. There's pretty much no healing to do whatsoever. And this boss is a great example of why in your downtime as a healer, if you're not doing damage, you are helping contribute to fights taking way longer than they should. So we put Life Blooms out, we put Efflow down, put all our dots on the boss. We can Convoke. Really the only times I'm thinking of healing is when we're dodging these. So right here, when we're getting ready to dodge, I Wild Growth, I refresh stuff. I put down Efflow, and then by the time it's over, I'm back in cat form and hitting the boss again. We're just watching out for these ads that jump around on people. Like if people start taking too much damage from it, I'll use like a Rejuve and a Regrowth on them. Same thing, we get out of the circle, we Wild Growth, we reapply Life Blooms, we throw down Efflow, we're back to doing damage. And here, if we take a little bit of group damage, we Wild Growth, maybe throw out a Treant. We're back to it. If we don't have Wild Growth up, we just press other buttons. So I'm doing Rejuice here, and then refreshing Life Bloom, and then now I can refresh Efflow. Getting rid of these debuffs. Just throw out an extra life, or a Wild Growth. Now we'll do damage with Convoke. And we Wild Growth and Rejuve somebody who's not full HP. Refresh dots. Refresh upkeep spells. Maybe help the priest out a tiny bit. Wild Growth. Press Heart of the Wild and do more damage.
Resist. Yes. Resist. And yet, the void still grows.
Incredible! Our challengers have conquered the trials and advanced to the final round! Return to the central chamber! It's time to begin the main event!
Enjoy playing Druid at the moment? Yeah, for sure. I like when both hero talent builds are viable, which they are.
Are you ready for some carnage?
High level are you? I'm 654 with 2 set.
Now face the longest reigning champion the Theater of Pain has ever known!
Basically just have really good trinkets and a crafted weapon.
At long last, a worthy contender.
Start out doing damage.
And despair.
I can Convoke for damage as well, because we have plenty of time. And the thing we're going to be healing for is the Grasping Rifts. Or more, I guess more specifically, the Manifest Death. So that's in 5 seconds here. So I'm going to finish doing damage. And then now I'm going to apply Wild Growth, rejuve pretty much everyone, apply Life Blooms and F-Flow. And then we just help kick in our ad if we need to. And then now we can go back to doing damage. The boss does this right here where the beam isn't moving. She actually is moving, it's just not showing it. So you want to just stay behind her. Then it won't hit you, because it only goes like a quarter of the way around her. This is just a rift, so we can just like Wild Growth, or yeah, Wild Growth, and then just apply Life Bloom and F-Flow. And then we go back to doing damage. We're hitting 50% here, so we're going to take a decent amount of damage. I'm going to jump out of form and Convoke for healing. Then we can go back to doing damage. Yet again. And then now we're going to have that Grasping Rift in... Where are the ads spawning? Oh, we're actually not getting them for a long time. We're actually chilling for a little bit, I think. Manifest Death in 6 seconds. So now we want to stop doing damage. We want to do Wild Growth. We want to apply stuff to people. We want to press a defensive. And then I'm just, once rejuves are on everybody, I'm pressing regrowths. And then we finish healing. We kick our ad. And now we're back to doing damage. Even though everyone's not full HP, we should be safe as long as we don't screw up like that and are stupid. I mark my body just in case they have cables, which it looks like the rogue does. Then we just wait for this to go away. And then we have another Grasping Rift up. I'm going to res this guy, health pod or renew him myself, and then we can just spam heal. If I want to be extra safe here, I can just Convoke for healing. Just to make sure everyone's nice and topped up, even though we don't have like a bad overlap or anything. And then now we go back to damage. So it's all just about trying to find a deeper understanding of like when your downtime actually is. Like when do you actually have downtime versus, you know, you go into cat form and then 2 seconds later you realize you have to heal a bunch of people or there's dots going out or something like that. That's just being really proactive with basically Bigwigs timers. Way to make it look easy, I hate you. I totally get it, because at the start of the expansion I felt the exact same way. It's just about practicing and getting comfortable with the dungeons and realizing like, oh, there's 10 seconds in this part of the fight where nothing is happening, or there's, you know, this trash doesn't actually hurt anyone, it doesn't do anything. It's stuff like that. Just identifying the different dangers or unavoidable damage patterns in the dungeon.